So a bit of introduction to myself. My name is Julie. I've sold all my life, fintech. I have consistently delivered several millions of dollars in revenue annually for software as a service, software and hardware. Um, Doing that, I have understood what nuances and dynamics that markets evolves, right, in several continents because I've worked with global companies to ensure that we grow ground up. So I hunt and I also farm as a salesperson. I'm hoping that, there's a saying that I heard that a candle doesn't lose anything by lighting another. So imagine there are several candles here and they're lighting us. So get ready to be lit, right? So I'll just allow them. We have big weights here, so they would introduce themselves in 1 or 2 minutes and just be open to learn. Thank you. I'll just let.
Okay. Put in the spot now.
Sorry.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. That's a good intro. Well done. That's starting with the sales tech myself back in Nigeria. Yeah. All right. So my name is Timi Adegowa. Spent about 20 years in the UK. I've always worked in tech. When I came into Scotland, I realized there is a bit of gap between one community and the other community, and that inspired me to start a non-profit that is called Black and Scott. And what we do is to foster opportunities that has to do with equity, tech, and sustainability for Black and minority people in Scotland. I work in cybersecurity. I'm a mom, and I'm also a wife.
Thank you so much, Edward.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Edward Obi. I'm a HR consultant. I'm also the director of HR Hub Plus and Peridot Recruit. I've been in Aberdeen for a long time, and hopefully I've gained a lot of knowledge that I can impart today. And my story from being in the professional sector right to becoming an entrepreneur, and the little hints and tips I got around the way that made me successful in what I do. So hopefully we all will learn. I've always said that, no man's an island. We have to have a network around us that will support us. We've all got a network now. We've heard from what our first speaker said, in 2004, the support network was barely existent, but now it is. So hopefully we'll utilize it and make the best out of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ade.
My name is Adetayo Ade. Everybody calls me Ade. I work with the Data Lab as a business development and innovation advisor. I have my background in business development and helping businesses grow. And I was passionate about looking at how we could leverage data and AI technologies to start to drive business growth and help us reach or achieve our expected or anticipated outcomes faster. And that was why I decided to transition into the tech space and start to see how we could analyze data and get value from it, and AI and machine learning. And so when I started the job at Data Lab, and it still is fun every day for me because it gives me the opportunity to bring my business development background with data and AI technologies and marry it together and help and support the public sector, private sector in Scotland to grow. So I currently manage the Data Lab hubs in Aberdeen, Perth, Dundee, and the Tay cities as well. And now the islands, so that covers Inverness as well. And I love my job and I love the opportunity it gives me to work with individuals, businesses, public sector to see how we can grow the entire Scotland economic and tech space to drive value. So it's good to be here this evening.
Thank you. Okay, so I'll start with you, Edward. You said you've been here you didn't tell us how long, for a long time.
For a while, yeah.
Yes. So, what specific skills or qualities do you think are most valuable to immigrants? We have a lot of us here, so from your experience, what do you think should be called out or people should work on?
I think first of all, it all depends. Most of us come with, loads of experience from wherever we're coming from. But what I always advise people is that, wherever you think the moment you step into wherever it is, whether it's England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, just park it and adapt to the current realities. Communication, leadership, that's very, very important. Problem solving skills, because now it's all about the skills, what you can offer an organization. That's what counts, not merely the background that you previously had. Because, if you say you're, a HR consultant in Nigeria or Ghana, and the first question they will ask you, okay, what experience do you have here in the UK? So it's all about taking that journey to see how you can adapt. So what I would advise anyone is your skills, you need to amplify it. If you're not on LinkedIn, that's the first step. You need to be on LinkedIn because that is the platform where you make the relevant connections, whether it's a job, whether it's entrepreneurial, links, anything you want. LinkedIn is a place to be. But you need to make sure you harness your skills, first of all, the ones that will adapt to whatever program it is you want to achieve here in the UK.
Thank you. So I think I'll add that to a question for you, Timmy. So you've been here for long as well, and a lot of people want to transition, especially this is a tech event, right? A lot of people want to transition from wherever they are right now, even though they have 10 years or 8 years experience, and skills can be transferred, right? So how do you think they can transition with bringing into cognizance what they already have or what they did previously, bringing it here?
Thank you. Very good question. I get asked a lot, so it's something I've always had to deal with. I always just say, first thing is to identify, because when people talk about tech, they don't even know how vast it can be, or how narrow, or how deep it can be. So the first thing you need to understand is, where do I want to go in tech? There are so many variants of tech. Some people think it's all about coding, and that. Sometimes it's just about communication, because I work in cybersecurity. People think I'm wearing a hood all day, but I work in risk. I'm just basically looking at what is it that is going to attack, and we should be proactive rather than reactive. And even if it already exists, how can we make it better or mitigate it? So first thing is for you to understand where you want to go. If you want to go into cybersecurity, fine. Again, that gives you another problem. Which of the domains in cybersecurity? Most important important. I've noticed something when I first came into Aberdeen. I almost ran back because I noticed people don't network, they don't go out, and it could be negatively impacting because you're not checking what's happening in your environment. Yesterday, I was invited to, for the first time in my life, I've never heard of an organization. They invited me to come and just be part of the audience. And I had so many things I wanted to do yesterday. I don't know if anyone to babysit my child, but I eventually, came. And because I came, the main speaker yesterday I had the opportunity to say hi, and he's now invited me to join the board of an organization I've never heard before. Why? They're looking for people that are from my community and a woman. Do you understand? So if I hadn't gone, the opportunity would not be there. So first thing is, you guys are come, well done, don't stop, because you don't know where the opportunities are. So I'll just stop.
Wow, so please, I think I need to get your number. So when the opportunity comes and all of that. So this question is for Ade. How did you try? Have you always done AI and automation and all of that? So, or if you haven't, can you? You will be the example. So how did you transition? Because I'm sure a lot of people would want to know.
So no, I haven't always done that. Like I said, I wanted to see. So I worked in marketing and we were doing marketing strategy, and we assuming the customer's pain points. You assume your target audience and say she's 15, she's this, and this must be a pain point. And we were not working with any data to back that up. And I started to ask questions. Well, is it possible for us to have, some sort of way where we can have data that validates all of these assumptions so that when we're developing our strategy, it is spot on. And so I decided I wanted to do a degree that helped me to understand data. And then I came to the University of Aberdeen to get a degree, an MBA degree in business analytics, where you're able to use data for making business decisions. And whilst, as part of the course, we started to do predictive analytics, which helped to, predict sales and demand, and we ventured into machine learning. And like I said, whilst I was doing my MBA, it was always like I was playing catch up because it was sometimes all of these things were so big for me and it was going over my head. But when I wanted to transition into tech, I knew I didn't want to do anything that had extensive programming or coding because I have just never been good at anything abstract or, But machine learning, because I had an end goal in mind, because I wanted to help businesses, it didn't feel so abstract because I was seeing the result of what I was doing. I was, using real life case studies and helping businesses to solve problems. It became interesting to me. And then I started learning about, pattern detection and AI and building AI algorithms and understanding how we can, do that. So it was because it was interesting for me because it was real and I had an end goal in mind. I decided I wanted to venture into the tech space and start to understand. So like I said, I invest like Dr. Tyro mentioned earlier, self-investment. So I decided to get a degree in that area. And then there was also a lot of self-development. Like I said, I was playing catch-up. It was a new area for me. So I had to start learning a lot on my own. Boot camps were like, YouTube videos, asking people for help. Do you know R? Do you know Python? Do you know all of this? I asked for help as much as I could. And that was what helped. That was why I was able to transition.
Oh, cool. Thank you very much. I guess one of the things, that I think echoed in what you said is learning and relearning, right? You don't stop learning just because I don't say my age, just because I'm how old I am. I would not stop, like she said, investing in myself because I want a better version of me. Like she said, you don't know how deep or how shallow or how low it is. You can only find out if you learn. So this question is for you. I know some of us come with misconceptions on how to enter the market or how to start off with your career when you move. And that's because of what we've heard or what we have seen. But you've been here for a while, so maybe you can call out to us again. Sometimes when people say what you have in your head, it sort of brings it to your face and you're like, okay, maybe I need to step back. So what do you think, as you've seen, are the misconceptions that we have in our head on how we should transition?
Okay, thank you. Right. So I know for sure, and I always say this, anyone that is coming from as a migrant and you're coming to the UK or Aberdeen to start a master's, you already have a first degree. So I'm not going to undermine your skills, everything you already had. And I always also say this, you don't have to start at the bottom. I made that mistake when I first came into the UK and everybody told me you have to go into care. Caring is a honest job. Please don't take me, get me wrong. It is fantastic. But I couldn't because I am very, very emotional. They asked me to go and support an old woman and I was crying. I just couldn't. It wasn't my call. But I found something else and it was an admin job. I left Nigeria as a telecom sales manager and I had to start all over as an admin. It's things I've done 15 odd years before I came into the UK. So please don't think you always have to start at the bottom. But most importantly, once you know that this is an area you want to go, look for a mentor. That's what we do at Black and Skull. We train, it's not full training, complementary training to what you already know. And then we appoint you mentors to help you identify the areas that you want to go. If you can find that mentor, the person working in the area that you are keen to transition into, that's the number one step of you being successful. Means that you're already on the way, but you have to be consistent because the mentor is busy, they're doing their own day job, they have their own family. So you have to be resilient, serious, committed to a plan that you both are working towards. Once you've done that, I don't think you should have any problems. And if you have questions, you ask, never ever shy away from asking questions. That's something, the nature of what I do, I ask and ask and ask. So never shy away from asking questions. That always helps me. And I tell people what I have learned being in the UK for over 20 years. If you're ready, I don't want you to take 20 months. Just do it and let us start it up.
Thank you. Edward, I feel like you want to add something. Because I
Yeah, I think, from my perspective, I've always believed you can't be what you can't see. If you know where you want to go, you have to work hard for it. I mentor a few people. So one of the first questions I always ask is, where do you see yourself? What do you want to become? And some just get stuck up on the discipline. And they just think that's just it. It's just no flexibility, nothing. And then I say, okay, when you come into university here, there's a tab, placement and jobs. It gives you different areas in which you can expand on that discipline. And a lot of people don't know that. They just think it's just one aspect and that's it. Let me give you an example. My son is 15. So we had this chat. I said, okay, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he said, oh, I want to be like you, Dad. So I said, all right, do you know what that does? And it was like, no. I said, okay, so, all right, let's have this conversation. What steps do you want to take to be like Dad? We all know that kids at 15, when he's 16, it will be a totally different thing. But we all live the moment anyway. So I said, so what are you going to do? He said, okay, I'm going to come to the office and work. I said, okay, that's fine. So, whenever they have midterms and holidays, he comes to the office a couple of hours and works and, he's gaining that experience. But a lot of us don't have that opportunity. So what I always tell people is there are volunteering opportunities, in the third sector. Some people say, I don't want to go in the third sector. I said, but you'll get experience there. And I was okay, what about shadowing opportunities? Now, shadowing opportunities under employment law is, as long as you're not doing any work, you can shadow someone who's, in a particular area that you want to be and gain experience, ask questions and build up your knowledge from there so that if you then get opportunity to be in that role or have an interview, then you've got something concrete to say. And then some people will say, well, I've only got 20 hours. If I use 1 hour or 1 day, that cuts into it. I need money to pay my bills. And, it then becomes a problem. You then focus on things that will distract you. Let me give you an example, right? And, he doesn't know I'm going to say it. I was in a dead-end job, right, years ago. And I was always complaining to this guy here, Pete Preston, and, he'll be like, oh, Edward, I'm sick and tired of this. What are you going to do about it? I said, I don't know, And then one day he said, have you ever thought of doing your own thing? And I was like, not really. And he said, okay, why not give it some thought? And, that seed was planted and here we are today. So, at times, you might get a light bulb moment and you might decide to should I not? Take that leap of faith. There's a lot of people you can leverage on. I remember when I started, Dr. Yekemi might not remember, she was doing her Your Marketing thing, and Your Marketing, a very great brand, and, supporting people who want to go through their market, who want to go through the business, get marketing skills and all that. And I jumped on the course and, I learned from it because, Dr. Yekemi was, building your personal brand, social media, it all keys in And that's one of the reasons why I've been successful in my social media strategy. You build it around it. And she won't know this. She didn't even know I'm going to say it, but I had to. But what I'm trying to say is, if someone amongst us gives you the relevant guidance, support, just take it. Don't feel entitled that things are always going to be your way. It's not going to happen. You just learn from those who have gone through that route, and the rest is just easy peasy. So that's all I can say for now.
Thank you so much. I mean, what you just said now borders around networking and mentorship. And I know you said Black and Scott is doing something. Maybe if you can shed more light on what you're doing and the real essence of networking. I know you also said that in that meeting that you went for yesterday and how it panned out. So if you can shed more light on that, it will really be helpful.
Mentoring is key. I still have a mentor. I think I'm going to have a mentor till I die. Because sometimes you think you know something, and then somebody gives you another perspective of what you think you know, and then you realize, oh, I'm going back to school. And just not because you don't know, but because you want to improve. Very important. What we do is if we identify that in this audience now, 10 people want to go for a training in cybersecurity. You've approached us, you've registered. We will take you through the foundation, which is we have a partner called the Global Institute. They allow us to use their materials and give us licenses for people to pass the exam for the foundation. So we'll take you through that foundation. It's actually happening now. That's why I'm sending someone to handle that seminar. So once you've gone through that foundation, we would encourage you and assign you maybe a mentor. If you have 10 people, then you can join the calls every week. You go through exam questions, things, scenarios that you might meet in the exam. Once you believe that you're ready, you are located in voucher, and then we'll take the exam. On the back of that, we then have, which is going to launch in a few weeks, we then have a place for you to come for hands-on, because a lot of people do training, they don't just have the confidence to go and find the job or do the job. So we provide hands-on, tell you what you need to do. For instance, I am working on this. I will ask you to job shadow what I'm doing, explain the process, end-to-end process, and then I'll give you the confidence to say, I think this is where I belong, this is what I want to do. Then again, on the back of that, we appoint you a mentor for a period. So in total, it's a 3-month program. We go through that process, we support you throughout, and we expect and we are hopeful that at the end of that 3 months, whatever you have gathered as an individual with the mentor, will keep you for the job market. Networking is key, very, very key. I don't know how you guys have managed to do this so well done. Really, really proud that you've done it. If you keep it up as individuals, you will be amazed the opportunities that will open up to you. Even if you're starting with 2 people, keep it on, let it be consistent, because somebody is going to be invited to come and speak someday that will just have the answer to what you have. And I can tell you for free, everything I am doing today with Black and Scott is because I've attended an event. That's the only reason. So you can't stay at home. Even if you are joining the streaming, it's not the same as coming in person, so very, very key. And when you get to work, don't just say, I'm here to do my job, and then you close and you go home, you go to church and you go home, triangle way for you. You have to make the consistent effort. Where we're coming from, we are social animals. Every Saturday there's a weekend, there's a party. Don't let that stop here. We'll make it a productive one, something that will work for you, either in your career or your business. Make effort to look for opportunities like this one. Check what is happening in your environment, what is happening in tech, what is happening in business, what is happening, business startups. Check the opportunity. There is always something happening. So no excuse to say you're not going to go out to network. You guys are here today, so it's okay.
Thank you. I think one thing that I took out from what you said is excellence, right? You can't gainsay excellence. People can be upset about it, but you cannot gainsay excellence. Like Dr. Otaro said, self-awareness, self-investment, all of those things and how you pace it creates an image for yourself. And at the end of the day, I mean, the first person that will benefit is you, and then every other person, like the lighting up your world. So I think the last question I'll just ask Kyle, I'm sorry, Ade, is, you know, where you work, are they positioned, like, just to know if employers, I don't know if Edward and Timmy can add something to it afterwards, can better support like migrants? Are there things that they've put in place that people are not aware of that we can leverage on and get into this tech space?
Okay, so part of our mandate, Data Lab is government funded. We're funded by the Scottish Funding Council, and that's the same arm of the government that funds the universities of Scotland. And part of our mandate is to grow and retain data and AI talent in Scotland. And so we deliver on this by working with several social enterprises that are able to help train people and deliver courses that help you build those skills. And that's topped up with the partnerships that we have with all universities across Scotland to train you in the technical skills. And then we have the Data Lab Academy that tops those technical and hard skills up with soft skills that make sure that you are industry ready by the time you finish through all of that process. One of the social enterprises that we work with is called DataKirk. DataKirk is positioned to train people that are from Black and ethnic minority backgrounds on the hard data skills that are required for functioning and working with industry. Now, like I said, we are positioned to also retain those talented skills within Scotland, which means that we have to engage with industry to ensure that people that have gone through our trainings have the opportunity to practicalize their knowledge. So we have placement programs that we do with industry partners where you can have a 12-week period to work with an organization, to take a project forward with them, practicalize what you have learned, and that gives you both work experience and opportunity to practicalize what you have learned. So yes, we work with social enterprises across board. So if you want to get, and then we work with business professionals, people who are already leaders or managers in their organizations, but want to understand what to do with their data assets, what is all this force around data. So we have online on-demand courses. Some of them are funded by our government partners, so some of it is free. We have driving value from data for business managers to understand what they can do with their data assets. Where to start from. We have driving value from AI, we have people power data, we have courses around data for entrepreneurs, how you can drive entrepreneurship using data and AI. So we have several courses that we do. So if there's anybody looking for opportunities in this regard, you can just come talk to me after.
Wow, thank you so much. Edward, do you want to add?
Yeah, I think most of us we're registered with job boards, receive job alerts most of the time. Most companies, you know, coming from putting my recruitment hat on, most of them, if you don't have the experience, they won't take you, right? But don't consider that a negative. What I always advise people is contact the company and ask them if there's opportunities for shadowing. And, you know, shadowing is not paid as long as you don't do any work in the organizations. And most organizations are open to that. All you do is to just observe how they work. If you've got any questions, you ask. You're building experience, and it's a win-win. And if for some reason, you know, we all know about the skill shortages here in the UK now. If for some reason, you know, 2-3 months down the line, they feel, oh, you know, maybe you've learned enough to support the business, there might be an opportunity. And I've known people who have got opportunities just by doing that. Ignore whatever you might lose financially from whatever job you're doing. It might just be a couple of hours a week shadowing, but trust me, it all builds up.
Thank you so much.